This video is a short introduction to the possibilities of my SimHub and Stream Deck plugin. If you use one of the simulations supported by SimHub and have a Stream Deck, then my plugins build the bridge between these products. You need two plugins, one for SimHub and one for Stream Deck. Both are linked in the video description below. On both websites, you will find documentation about the installation and usage of my plugins. So this is the plugin that has to be installed into SimHub. Use the releases link on the right side to download the plugin. As described here, you must read the documentation that matches the version of the plugin that you have installed. I have 1.78, so I use this version. This is the Stream Deck plugin. Again, use the releases link to download this plugin. To read the documentation, you should also switch to the version that you have installed. I am using a development version for this video, so I stay on the main branch. In the folder icons, you can find some icons that I am using in my examples. One of the main features of my plugins is that you can control your simulation with the buttons of your Stream Deck, and the state of the buttons will always be in sync with the simulation. Here we have some buttons for ignition, engine, wipers, light and rain light. We can control these functions from the Stream Deck. But if you change them in the simulation, the state updates as well. If you have a Stream Deck Plus, you can also use the dial knobs. This is very practical for traction control, ABS and so on. You can also stack them to have multiple functions on the same knob. Here we have brake bias, and if I press the button, I have the engine map. Each button can be configured with two different actions for short press and long press. This one switches the ignition with a short press and the engine with a long press. This is useful for the smaller Stream Deck devices. ShakeIt Wind can be used without special support, but the plugin has special functions for ShakeIt bass shakers and ShakeIt motors. For example, gain and mute of your effects can be controlled with the Stream Deck. Again, the state of the buttons is in sync with SimHub. If you change the values in SimHub, of course, the button will update too. Here we have an example of how the dial knobs of the Stream Deck Plus can be used to interact with SimHub. Gain and mute are mapped to the dial knobs, as before. SimHub has a practical feature for abstracting input devices. Besides your physical devices, Stream Deck keys and knobs can be used to trigger SimHub control mapper roles. The same works for the knobs, but in this example I do not have mapped them in the simulation, so the actual value will not update, but you can see how the roles are triggered in SimHub if I turn the knob. As you delve deeper into the plugins, you should definitely read the section Available Properties and Help to learn about how you can use the more than 2000 properties of SimHub. You can find all the examples here in the documentation of my plugin. Unfortunately, links are not working in the table of contents, so you have to scroll down manually. Thank you for watching this video.